I know it hurts Democrats, specifically CNN, the network, to have to report this right here about Pete Hegseth after they legitimately tried to destroy this man's life in front of the world. Take a listen to the latest report and the bombshell that CNN just dropped on Democrats. Take a listen.
What are you hearing from senators now that the Hegseth hearing is done?
The expectation that he will get confirmed. In fact, I just asked Senator John Thune, who's the Republican leader, the majority leader, decides the schedule of the United States Senate. I asked him about Hegseth's nomination. Thune has not said a ton about this nomination. I said, does he have any concerns about these allegations of sexual assault that Hegseth has denied but came up in today's hearing, about these allegations of misconduct and the like? And he indicated he does not. According to Thune, he said that Hegseth acquitted himself extremely well, and that he plans to move very quickly on this nomination. And it is moving quickly. We expect the Senate Armed Services Committee to have a vote as soon as Monday, Inauguration Day. That is according to the chairman of the committee, Roger Wicker, who told me that he believes that he'll get the support of all Republicans and be able to push this through.
That comes, by the way, amazing that Jake Tapper has to report this, but that comes after a hearing, confirmation hearing on the Secretary of Defense. And of course, Pete Hegseth is the runner-up. And Democrats decided to take this time to try to roast him, to try to play with this man's livelihood. They talked about his wife. They talked about his personal relationship. They talked about things that really just didn't matter. They yelled at him. They did a lot. But Pete Hegseth decided to handle this. And I want to show one of the highlights here before we get to the really gritty stuff about this. And we got to go back to CNN for a report from Scott Jennings there. But I want to show you this part right here where Pocahontas does not even know who she's dealing with. I want you to take a look at the crowd's reaction when Pete Hegseth destroys her live on air. Take a listen.
You're quite sure that every general who serves should not go directly into the defense industry for 10 years. You're not willing to make that same pledge?
I'm not a general, Senator.
You'll be the one, let us just be clear, in charge of the generals.
Now, that was just one of many exchanges. Again, Pete Hegseth, I thought, did a phenomenal job with what he was dealing with. But now we have to turn to one of the grossest moments I think I've ever heard on a House floor, where Senator Tim Kaine is really a vile human being, a vile human being. Now, we know that Pete is going to get through. He's going to be confirmed. But this right here just goes to show you exactly what Congress is nowadays, who they are. Never run away from who they are, ladies and gentlemen, because this is just the truth. I want to show you this clip, a very, very disturbing Tim Kaine going after the family and the personal relationship and also daughter of Pete Hegseth. And this is what he had to get through today, to about to be confirmed. But this is what he had to get through with Democrats. And take a listen.
I have failed in things in my life, and thankfully I'm redeemed by my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
In finalizing divorces from your first and second wives, were there non-disclosure agreements in connection with those divorces?
Senator, not that I'm aware of.
If there were, would you agree to release those first and second wives from any confidentiality agreement?
Senator, it's not something I'm aware of.
But if there were, you would agree to release them from a confidentiality agreement?
Senator, that's not my responsibility.
Did you ever engage in any acts of physical violence against any of your wives?
Senator, absolutely not.
But you would agree with me that if someone had committed physical violence against a spouse, that would be disqualifying to serve as Secretary of Defense, correct?
Senator, absolutely not have I ever done that.
You would agree that that would be a disqualifying offense, would you not?
Senator, you're talking about a hypothetical.
I don't think it's a hypothetical. Violence against spouses occurs every day. And if you as a leader are not capable of saying that physical violence against a spouse should be a disqualifying fact for being secretary of the most powerful nation in the world, you're demonstrating an astonishing lack of judgment. The incident in Monterey led to a criminal charge, a criminal investigation, a private settlement, and a cash payment to the woman who filed the complaint. And there was also a non-disclosure agreement, correct?
It was a confidential settlement agreement off of a nuisance lawsuit.
Right. During an interview, you claimed that you settled the matter because you were worried that if it became public, it might hurt your career. Do you maintain that you were blackmailed?
Senator, I maintain that false claims were made against me. And ultimately,
Your attorney
those
used
false
the phrase,
claims, I have the opportunity to attest my innocence in those false claims.
That was truly unbelievable. But I thought that that was one of the main reasons why Republicans are all in favor of Pete Hegseth now to be the Secretary of Defense, because of how he handled himself. And once again, let me know what you guys think about that. But this was definitely one to remember. Now, we have Tulsi Gabbard coming up. We have RFK Jr. We have a whole bunch of people coming up to get through. But this right here was just the start of exactly how Democrats are going to act. And let's go back here to CNN. And let's go back to the reaction from a CNN commentator that just so happens to lean to the right, probably the only one, a man that you guys probably already know, Scott Jennings. Let's go to Scott Jennings here on CNN. Take a listen to this, how he breaks down exactly what happened.
Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump's pick to run the Department of Defense, took a lot of tough questions on Capitol Hill earlier today. Despite that, CNN has learned that President-elect Donald Trump's team is in good spirits. They see the warm reception that he received from Republican senators as a very good sign. I want to discuss this with CNN senior political commentator Scott Jennings and CNN political commentator Karen Finney. Hello to both of you. Scott, what's your takeaway?
Well, in short, I think Pete Hegseth kicked their asses today. I mean, it wasn't even close. They didn't lay a glove on Hegseth. No mistakes, calm, cool, collected. I mean, before the thing even started, you had this like Code Pink, protester freak show trying to disrupt the hearing. That's the Democratic base, by the way, which probably explains why the Democrats on the committee acted in such a bizarre and unprofessional way. I was appalled at some of the way these senators handle themselves and some of the lines of questioning. I mean, Tim Kaine sounded like a sex pervert in his questioning of Pete Hegseth. Blumenthal, who lied about his service in Vietnam, questioning Hegseth's qualifications. You had Gillibrand, you had Warren, you had Hirono going on unhinged rants about things. Angus King obviously doesn't understand what it's like to fight terrorism. On and on and on. Hegseth was cool in the face of this unhinged questioning. They made him look good today. It would be difficult for a Republican to vote against Hegseth after the Democrats' unseemly mudslinging today.
Yeah, that, again, that's coming on CNN. Too good for Scott Jennings right now to be on there and really prove these people wrong here. But this exchange just is getting started. But again, I think Democrats did it for Pete Hegseth. The way he handled himself is the reason why all Republicans are going to be on this side.
Karen?
Well, look, it was as performative as these hearings ever get. I mean, Republicans do it to Democrats, Democrats do it to Republicans. I mean, so that happens on all sides. Look, overall, though, clearly Hegseth was well prepared. And it was clear Democrats recognized that given that there was some clearly concern that he wouldn't be able to handle more than one round of questioning, they were clearly trying to get certain things on the record. Personally, the comms person in me would have framed it differently. I would have talked about a number of these issues, both based on his writings, which at one point they were trying to do that. That was part of the strategy, but really in the context of the modern military, because the reality is, as military leaders will tell you, climate change is a national security concern. It's real. It is a threat to our forces. It is a threat to our bases. It is a threat to our readiness. So I would have framed some of these questions more in the context of the current challenges the modern military faces. It is a diverse force, which is part of why diversity matters. I thought they also could have.
Oh my God, did she just go off about climate change? This is too crazy.
Done more to, again, use some of the concerns about the way Trump has spoken. I thought Slotkin was very effective with this in terms of the use of force on American soil and the Geneva Conventions. I think those questions got a little muddled, and I think those topics actually are very relevant and did not get quite the airing I wish they would have.
Oh, so you're admitting that they did a horrible job. They were focused more on theatrics. You're saying that you would have done a better job. But again, those are the senators that are senators, by the way, all Democrats that lost their minds out there today. Yeah, you probably wish they wouldn't have done that, because now he's going to get through like this. So reporting from CNN confirms. Again, that's just what it is. And it's so sad to see that even Democrats on CNN have to admit that this was all theatrics, and that Democrats didn't actually focus on any substance. They just focused on drama and his personal life. That's interesting.
It doesn't sound like you're all that thrilled with the way that your party's senators sort of performed as a whole, despite very notable exceptions. You didn't love it. Okay.
I didn't love it.
Well, there's one senator who you know pretty well, considering the fact that he was the vice presidential nominee when he worked on the Hillary Clinton, Tim Kaine presidential campaign. Because Scott mentioned this, I do want to run part of what Tim Kaine said in his line of questioning. And then on the backside, I want to listen to Mark Wayne Mullin, a Republican senator who's very close with Pete Hegseth, said as a counter.
Many of your work colleagues have said that you show up for work under the influence of alcohol or drunk. I know you've denied that, but you would agree with me, right, that if that was the case, that would be disqualifying for somebody to be Secretary of Defense.
Senator, those are all anonymous false claims, and the totality.
They're not anonymous. We have seen records with names attached to all of these, including the name of your own mother. So don't make this into some anonymous press thing.
The senator from Virginia starts bringing up the fact that what if you showed up drunk to your job? How many senators have showed up drunk to vote at night? Have any of you guys asked them to step down and resign from their job? And don't tell me you haven't seen it, because I know you have. And then how many senators do you know have got a divorce before cheating on their wives? Did you ask them to step down? No. But it's for show. You guys make sure you make a big show and point out the hypocrisy because the man's made a mistake.
Karen?
So here's
CNN forced to show that. Oh, that's too good. CNN forced to show Mark Wayne Mullin killing.
what I thought was interesting about that. And Mark Kelly tried to get to that. First of all, Tim Kaine, he came, loaded with the questions he wanted to ask. He has a son who served in the military. So obviously he takes a lot of this very seriously in terms of the expectations we have of our members should be the same expectations and standards we hold the secretary to. I don't think he was wrong on that. But I thought Mark Kelly did a little bit of a better job kind of teasing some of that out and trying to get more underneath some of the substance of that question in terms of he said, well, you've said you made mistakes, but you're not willing to tell us what the mistakes are. I thought that was another way to kind of go at that question.
And Scott, before I let you guys go,
again, this lady right here is admitting everything wrong with the Democratic Party's no substance and what happened today.
Did you have any concern about the sort of lack of answers on some of the really important policy issues that he will have to face as defense secretary, or even information about treaties like ASEAN?
No, I don't have any concerns about anything he did today. I thought he specifically answered the questions he needed to. And some of this stuff is going to be set by the President of the United States and the President's National Security Council advisors and staff. I mean, he's not a one-man show. Secretary of Defense is important, but there's a whole national security team. I don't think Hegseth or anyone else from one of these kinds of positions should go to the table and act like they're going to unilaterally set policy. So I think he handled himself well today. I think Democrats had maybe built up in their mind that he was going to be a low performer. They lowered the bar, but he far jumped over any expectations they had said. And I just want to say one thing about Karen's comment. She made some great points. She raised some issues that Democrats obviously care about. These are important issues. I agree with her that maybe they did deserve a little more questioning today, which is why it's all the more puzzling why a Tim Kaine, who's worked for the Clintons or campaigned with him, who campaigned with Doug Emhoff, decided to spend 8 minutes.
As the vice presidential nominee of our country. So due respect, please.
So he's supported some of these folks, and then he decided to spend 8 minutes on the granular details of this man's sex life. I mean, it was embarrassing for the Democratic Party today, particularly coming from Kaine. So I think Karen has it right. They did not do a good job. They totally whiffed on this, and they made it more, not less likely, that Hegseth's going to be confirmed.
Well, it seemed as though that was...
They're cooked! Oh, they're so cooked, ladies and gentlemen. They are so cooked. They're cooked.
No one laid a glove on him. He's good. He's got this. I have zero doubts now that he will be confirmed. Joni Ernst was the big question mark, and she was great today. She was very nice in her questioning of him, very respectful. That's not a no vote, no way. And this is just the Senate Armed Services Committee. He'll get out of committee, but like, she was the big pivotal vote, even if Trump is going to lose potentially McConnell, potentially Murkowski, and Collins, which now they're saying he might not. I don't think Pete Hegseth has trouble. I think he's going to get confirmed, and I don't think anybody touched him. And really, to me, the story of the day was how some of these Democrat senators embarrassed themselves trying to. I was humiliated for some. Why do the women always have to be so shitty? Why do the women have to be like these hysterical fools? Why can't they be more dignified? Like, you could lay gloves on him. I mean, Tim Kaine was the worst. I should say that up front. The worst, the most disgusting, I should say. But he wasn't like an hysteric. Mazie Hirono is so dumb. I can't believe she's a U.S. senator. Kristen Gillibrand was like, women can be in combat. You've hurt our feelings. It was like, oh my God. You are undermining the very cause that I know you so desperately want to promote right now. So I was embarrassed for them. I was embarrassed.
Yes, that's the moral of the story. The moral of the story here is how Democrats embarrassed themselves. And Pete Hegseth is now going to get through. And now it looks good for the other nominees for confirmation. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to smash the like button. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. What a wild day. Still a lot more to talk about on this channel. Always active and going. So make sure to smash the like button. Turn that notification bell on. So that way you know when I'm posting. Because YouTube sometimes, the algorithm gets messed up out there. Too much truth getting out there, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll see you guys on the next one.